It's a perverse motivation that where I end up is the reason I ought to be doing things differently. And fundamentally, I don't think that's the point.
Exactly. The idea that Christianity is a location problem needs to burn in hell.
You see what he did.
Got
See
him.
what he did
And
there.
so for me, it is hot trash F.
Take it easy.
All right, everybody, welcome in to another episode of The Easy Approach. As always, I'm your host, Nate. And as always, I'm joined by Tony Zuma and Canaan Evans. Say hello,
And I'm your
fellas.
co-host, Canaan Evans.
And I'm your co-host, Nate Evans.
Tony, you can go if you want.
Sure.
You can
Give
just
the
Hello,
You
everyone.
You can go.
Hi.
No, I mean like you can shut it off. Just shut it down.
Welcome.
Yeah, you can leave. Yeah.
I'm the co-host.
Don't go. Don't say anything. Leave. We are live right now on YouTube, streaming this episode. We are just coming off the back of a double header. So we finished recording a heavy episode, and now we get to jump into something a little lighter. Maybe. I'm not going to say more fun, but I'm going to say very different. We are tackling the dialect that every church person speaks
Oh, God, no.
fluently. The dialect we all speak fluently, but that nobody questions. We're tackling Christianese. From the moment you step into the church lobby, you get bombarded with the phrases that sound very holy on the surface, right? The everything happens for a reason, or I felt a release in my spirit. The problem is half of those bumper sticker like one-liners aren't in the Bible. Some of them are flat out bad theology, and others are just really lazy excuses to avoid having real conversation. However, every once in a while, a church phrase comes along that sounds really intense or goofy, but actually carries like the weight of the way of Jesus. So tonight, Tony, Canaan, and I are putting a bunch of the most famous Christian sayings to the test, and we are ranking them on a definitive tier list from S tier kingdom anchors down to F tier hot garbage.
Only on the easy approach. That's
Only on the easy
the
approach
only
where you
place
get
you'll
this
get this
kind of content.
high quality.
So the first one, guys, it's I'm finna pull up into that confessional. S
That
tier.
is not one of them.
Finna.
We're
That's-
not-
It's
that
very
isn't
common
one of them.
in
Your
the Catholic Church.
Didn't do that all the time?
Yep. Guys, I'm going to share with you a little picture on the screen.
Fancy.
This is our tier list for the night, and you can see we have tiers arranged from S all the way down to F.
And if you're listening to us at a later time than our live show, we apologize for assuming that you can see it, but just imagine it in your brain.
This is a video podcast now, Tony, and they
Oh, I know.
will be able to see it.
They will, but if they're in the car, I don't know.
Oh, I see. If you're listening via audio, you're missing out. You're missing out. Because we have visuals, we have faces, we have graphics. So you're missing out, but you're also missing out if you're not in here with us live. Either way, here's our tier list for the day. We have S down to F, and I'm going to give, if it's okay with you guys, a quick explanation for y'all's sake and for our viewers and listeners' sake of what these tiers, what these rankings mean. S
Absolutely.
tier, this is like pure gospel. This is like biblically sound. This is, it's like you want to hold on to this. You are less rooted in the way of Jesus if you give up this idea. A tier is going to be our, it's solid, but it needs context. Good concepts that work well when used correctly. B tier is it's kind of harmless filler, right? It's not hurting anybody, but it doesn't really help anybody. It's kind of inoffensive, whatever. C tier is this is the cop-outs, okay? These are the ones you throw out to sound pious or holy while dodging any kind of real life vulnerability or just having a real conversation. Finally, F tier is the burn it down tier. This is the stuff that's literally just wrong. It's just false, it's unbiblical, or it's just actually damaging to people.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Hopefully we won't have a lot of F's. I think we might.
I've read a handful of them, and I've
My
decided
we
sweet
might.
summer child.
I could be hopeful in the beginning.
You know darn well we're gonna have some F's. Don't even front, Tony. All right. Now, look, we have a list of 20 different things. I brought some. Tony brought some. Kana brought some. There is a 2% chance we get through this entire list. So
Yeah, we have about 10 minutes for each one, right? That sounds about right. The amount of time that we have.
Not even.
For this
what
podcast.
I have done to solve this is I've created the Spin Master, the Christian jargon Spin Master.
The Wheel of Doom.
This is the wheel of jargon, the wheel of sayings. And when we spin this wheel, it's going to land on one of these things, and that's going to be the thing we have to rank. Sound good?
Awesome.
this is like a peak
I love it.
Twitch stream, but for Christian jargon.
That's right.
And if we have enough votes in the chat, we'll just go to that one right away.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Big boy 4112. Thank you for the gifted.
We should have put drink a gallon of milk in one of those.
Oh.
And then we have to do it live on stream for everybody to watch.
Yeah, that's
It's,
exactly what people
In
want to see.
between every inoffensive Christian jargon is a punishment voted on by you guys. Yeah. Okay, we have quite a few here. So I'm gonna spin, and then we're gonna see if we win. Like that sound effect.
That's nice.
Ooh, we started off with a banger.
Starting out with a banger.
I don't want to help that. Yeah, God won't give you more than you can handle. God won't give you more than you can handle. This is a classic, fellas.
It's a classic.
It's good.
This is
Yeah.
a classic.
I'll
All right, what do
start
we
us
think?
off. I don't want to get too controversial too quick. I'm going to go C tier. I'm going to go C tier.
C tier is, as a reminder,
Yeah.
this is the stuff. Let me get my exact description. This is the stuff you throw out to sound holy while dodging real life and vulnerability.
Yeah, I'm still going to give it a C tier, I think.
Okay.
I think that in many cases, I just don't think that's true. I think life is just going to happen to you. And in many cases, it may be more than you can handle. But God will always be with you. And I think that he can help you through that stuff that's too much to handle. That's what I think. There's my 30-second, 15-second argument.
Yeah. So do you think that it's true that God will give you more than you can handle, or that God will not give you more than you can handle?
I don't think that's true, no.
I think you may have misranked this, buddy.
Did I?
Yeah, because
confused?
the tier where that's like, this is a lie, this is just wrong,
God won't
Is
give you more than you
F
can
tier.
handle.
is F tier. Because C tier is like you kind of you say it to avoid real conversation. F tier is like,
I mean,
it's wrong.
it's definitely in the Bible, right, Nate?
Is it, Tony?
These are all super biblical Christianese. Yeah,
Okay, here's the thing.
course.
This is not a podcast discussing something as heavy as this. But I'll
Sorry.
say this.
Sorry.
There is biblical precedent for the idea that God will not allow you to be tempted beyond
That's
your
where it comes from.
ability to say no.
But that's not what it says.
But that isn't what this
well,
says.
but
This
that's
says
what
God
people
will
say.
not give you more than you can handle. So that, to me, this phrase is used like, here's a situation in your life. God's allowed it to happen to you. In essence, he's given it to you, and you can handle it. I think there's nowhere in the Bible where it says that, first of all. Second of all, I think there's many places in the Bible where it says the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where,
absolutely.
like, explicitly, there are many situations where a person's ability are like vastly not enough for a given situation. So in essence, God has put someone in a situation that they cannot handle on their own.
Agree.
Now, you can take that and say, wait a minute though. Isn't it the case that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I would say, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
That's why I gave it a C.
if you moderate this to say, God will never give you more than you can handle
Without
him,
him.
Yeah. With them.
like that addendum. Like, God will never put you in a situation that is too great for you to get through with his help. Then yes, amen. S tier. We go
That's
all
what
the
I
way to
would've
the
said.
top.
But I gave it a C.
However, it doesn't say that. What
Yeah,
it says is a lie, I think.
I agree. And
That's
for me,
why I gave it a
it's-
C.
It's hot garbage.
Why
It's
are
an
you
F
questioning
tier.
my C
I think it's
if it
F.
makes sense?
I think it's F tier.
It's so
Well,
F tier.
I gave it a
Sorry.
C because
You're not wrong.
because
all right? You're just
that
not
little
right.
addendum, it's sort of implied, and people can use it in the wrong way. You know, they may say
that's
that.
True. Like
am I
they
being
may
I'm not
say-
picky? Am I being picky? Because I feel like it's F. Burn it down.
I gave it a C because maybe the intention when it's used is not necessarily exactly as it's stated.
So that I feel similar, Canaan, that I think that there are plenty of times when people say something like this, they have good intentions. Sure. But this is also in the context of things that Christians say that I wish to hell they would not ever say. And this is one of them because this is hot garbage. Like instead of actually having a conversation with someone, instead of relationally connecting with them, instead of actually digging into this, this is typically given as a, all right, let me take this card out of my pocket, hand it to you. Oh, you're good. All right, bye.
Pat you on the back.
Yeah, pat on the back.
you know,
I
God
did
will never
my
give you more than
Christian
you can handle,
civic
so-
duty, you know?
So good luck.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So that's why for me,
Look, at
it's
least I
F
didn't
tier.
give it an S, okay?
I wish you would have.
Look, okay. I can be talked into giving it a C because I think that there are some people
Tony says no.
who use it with that intention.
Yeah,
However-
but that doesn't make it right.
However, I've also met people who take this and they take it at face value.
Yeah, and most
Yeah.
times it's received at face value. That's what matters to me more is how are these Christianese things received, especially by people who aren't Christian.
Yes.
And so for me, it's a
in
solid.
that sense. In that
That's fair.
sense, I don't want anyone to ever say it again.
Yeah,
I don't want to
Exactly.
ever hear it again.
exactly.
And so that probably falls into the category of burn it down.
Burn it.
Okay.
So we got
burn it
2
down.
F's and 1 C. That is an F
I think
tier.
you
and-
outweighed me. Yeah.
Fellas, we're off to a
We gotta
great
go.
start.
We gotta go way faster.
We're off to a great start. Look, now, to be fair, that's one of the heavier things. Knock on wood. We'll see. But you know what? First of all, let's take a little quick look at our list. There we are. We have our first thing on the tier list, and it is God won't give you more than you can handle. We're gonna go back to the wheel of. Wait a minute. That's not the wheel.
The wheel of destiny.
We're gonna go back
Wheel
to
of mediocrity.
the Wheel of Fun. With that thing is now removed from the Wheel of Fun. There's only 19
fancy.
options left. So here we go. I'm charging the wheel.
Yeah, I don't
not
know
like
how I
that.
feel about the sound effects.
I don't like that. Can we turn that
I
off?
They might
love
be
the sound
F tier
effects.
as well.
Here we go. Okay. Preach the gospel at all times, and if necessary, use words.
Okay. I would say that's more of a Christian quote as opposed to Christian jargon, but I'm gonna open us up. I like it. I'm gonna give it an A.
A tier.
I'm gonna give it an A.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
It's speak with your actions over your words, and I think generally speaking that's true. However, there's a large part of the gospel that is you probably should communicate with words, so it's an A, not an S for me.
For me, it's an absolute S. No hesitation. And the reason why is going back to something that I always harp on, that Christianity as a whole, it's an internal religion, which means it's specifically there to develop, or an aspect of it is developing your character, developing the choices you make, developing the type of person you are to yourself and those around you. And that has everything to do with every moment of your life. And sometimes you will use words. It's not saying don't use words. If it said don't use words, then I'd probably say A. I'm okay with not using words and still doing the other stuff.
Fair
But
enough.
with using words too, it's an S tier for me. Easy.
Yeah. I think I'm coming in at A because I think there's a good chunk of truth here. But I think it needs just a little bit of context.
Do you think that some people use it as like an excuse card kind of
Yeah.
thing?
I
Okay.
do.
I see that.
Yeah. I think it needs the context of what does it mean to preach the gospel with your life.
Yes.
And so
That's true.
if you have contextually, you're like, yes, the gospel of Jesus Christ is, and we should really do a what is the gospel series, shouldn't we?
Super easy. Not a problem at all.
We should really do one of those because that is one of the most widely misunderstood. Like I go
agree.
into Bible schools, like around the U.S. and in the world, for people who have been like they're like 8 months in, and I come in, I'm like, all right, let's talk about the gospel, and they're like, yeah, about that. Like we're not really like you get a variety of like I think it means something like this, and I think it means something like that, but like of all the things we could be unclear about as followers of Jesus, you think that would be the singular most important thing? Like, what is the good news exactly?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll off my soapbox. I think it needs the context of what we're actually talking about and what that actually means. So I'm going to come at it an A. I think the sentiment of not being a soapbox gospel preacher is good.
Yeah.
Because it like you remove it from the bounds. You remove it from the box of when I talk about the gospel, I'm talking about it and I'm preaching it. Like no, you're going to go live it. That's good. Removing it out of that box, that conceptual box. But I think it needs context. So I'm coming in at A.
Makes
and we're
sense.
At A.
And so
It's an A.
yeah, 2 A's and an S. It's an
Two
A.
A's and an S. It's an A. Back to the wheel. Back to the wheel. Remove and spin again. Let me stop this, and I will share it, and I will stop sharing my tab audio since you guys don't like my cool sound
No,
effects.
I was just joking. You could
I didn't
keep
like
I
it
can
going.
still hear the cool sound
It was
effects.
obnoxious.
Here we go. I have an unspoken prayer request. I want you to
shouldn't
pray
laugh
about
at
it,
you.
but I won't spoke
I
it.
won't
though.
tell you what it is. Yeah.
It's unspoken.
So I think given the context of that is kind of useful because I come from a background where no one said this. I've never heard this until I got into
Really?
more Christian. I have heard it, don't be wrong, but it's once I got into more Christianese circles, that's when I started hearing it a lot. But like when I was raised in like just the type of like Baptist kind of church that I was raised in, it wasn't really, hey, I have something that I need you to pray about, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Like that's never happened to me before my ministry days.
When I hear this, I think to myself, just tell people you had a colonoscopy and you're waiting for the results. Just tell them, you need to be
you weren't supposed
more
to tell everyone, Canaan.
you know,
No, that'll be happening later this year, actually.
I love me or hate me. I hate it. I hate it when people do this. I think you should have more friends who will keep things more confidential or something. Because I just don't think, I think there's power in specific prayer. That's what I'll say. I think there's power in specific prayer. And I don't know about how maybe this works. I feel like prayer kind of loses its point if we're praying for unspoken, unknown things. I don't know.
Okay, let me push back a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you think if we're at a meeting and I say, "Hey guys, I'm not at liberty to talk about it," But if you guys could join me in asking for God's help for brother whoever, that would be really great. How would you feel about that?
That's fairly specific. I didn't
I
like
mean, you
that
still have
called him
no
brother.
clue what you're praying for, right?
What? My dad's colon has something
Could you pray for that?
unspecified going on. And I need.
I have an unspecified colon that I need
And
to
once
pray
more,
for.
this for me has to be in the context of good theology. Talking about bad theology is one of my favorite things on earth, unfortunately. But if we need to have an understanding of what people are intending when they say prayer, right? If we're talking about Harry Potter spells where I need you to cast this spell for me, and the more people casting this spell together, I'm going to get the thing that I'm asking God to give me, then this is straight up F tier. That the context that you just gave, Nate, is very reasonable. It's very reasonable even for someone who is not used to asking for help to say, hey guys, I have something going on in my life. I'm not really comfortable with talking about the specifics, but I do want to put it out there to ask for prayer. Also reasonable. So, like everything else, it's a context. I'm not going to say this burns to the ground, but this is the context of Christianese jargon. I have heard it in too many negative ways and not enough positive ways, so it's lower for me. It's maybe a high C, low B. I'm between those for me.
Yeah, I hear you on being torn because in terms of the, I don't think it's quite right to say it is inoffensive and it doesn't hurt anybody, because I
Yeah.
think that once you kind of establish in a group the culture of unspokens, I just remember being at a lot of youth groups,
Yeah.
and everyone would start throwing out, I got an
Oh,
unspoken
man.
prayer request. I got an unspoken prayer request. I got an unspoken, and it was this, it was a lot of stuff. People were either like they didn't want to open up and share, or it was just like I don't know. And I think it
They wanted
can
to hide.
I think it can encourage lack of openness, and I think
Yes.
openness is an important part of community. However, there are times when you're not at liberty to say.
That's right.
So I think there's basis for it, but it's also not totally like innocuous.
Hmm.
So it's difficult, right? It's tricky.
I'm gonna go with the C.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna
going D.
What do you rank it, Canaan? An F?
D.
There's
We
no
don't have a
D.
D.
Dude, whatever. Okay, why did we skip D? D is a part of the alphabet.
What?
Right?
What do you want the
Skip
lowest
E.
tier to be?
I don't understand
D?
why there's not an E.
Listen, okay.
Yeah, you didn't bring up E. He's calculating.
Dang
the
it.
alphabet. He's running
E
through the
is
alphabet.
between F and C. Dang it.
Look. Why don't we use a Z tier? Okay, that's better than S tier.
Dude,
let's be
Why
honest.
is there an S tier at all? Shouldn't A be the highest?
This
of the
tier
tiers?
list is broken.
Oh,
I'd
we
just like to say that
apologize
right
for
here.
anyone who's actually.
I just want to say it's very common not to have
Okay,
a D
fine.
or an E tier.
I'll go with
before
F. Are you happy?
Okay.
Canaan comes in at F. Tony comes in at C. Is that right?
You know what? Actually, I'm going to put it in an unspoken tier.
He's abstaining.
I have an unspoken tier list. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Canaan's F. Canaan's F. Tony's C. I think I would come in at B, but I would lean into C, like very low B, because
Yeah.
there can be a basis for it, but it still bothers me.
Yeah, it bothers me. Yes.
So I'm gonna say, look,
Yeah, I think we
I'm
balance
gonna
out
come in
at
at
C.
B. Okay, I'm coming in at B, but that balances out to a C.
Yep.
That balances out to a C, and I'm gonna say there is, to those of you out there listening, and you're like, I can never share. They made fun of unspoken prayer, and now I can't say it. You can. There are moments where you don't need to speak all the details of your prayer request.
Just
However,
listen to him.
if Canaan's
listen to him.
around, don't say the word unspoken prayer request. Say,
Just
I
tell
have
the
a
people.
prayer request
Yeah.
that I'm not at liberty to share the details about. Would you please
There you
just
go.
because God knows, would you please pray, ask him, God, would you help with that situation that you know? I think there's validity there. So I would come in, it's like it's a B, but the votes, the people say it's a C.
While we spin on the next one, I'm just gonna say we should have an entire podcast on unspoken prayer requests and the
Oh
biblical
no.
validity
Oh
of
no.
whether or not this is a thing. I don't know. We have to get into this.
Canaan cares about this.
All right,
That's
spin.
funny.
I know. I don't. Okay. All
all
right,
right.
spin us.
Spin away. Spin away.
Spin away.
Spin.
Away, Brian. Wait a minute. Did I not? I don't know if I shared the volume.
If it lands on it again, we'll just pull it out.
Let's see. How do I mute a tab? Mute. I can't find the mute button.
No, you're good. Just spin.
All right, here we go.
Just spin to win.
We are spinning, and where are you spending eternity? If you died today, where you going?
I'm coming in hot, so I'm not gonna give my
I already know where you're
ranking
going
right
with this.
away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Nate go first on this one.
Oh, I don't
Tony's
wanna-
an easy S on this one. Am I right, Tony?
Easy yes. It's the most important thing in Christianity.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. Okay. How can I provide nuance here? There it is. I'm going to say, I think I have to come in with, okay. On the plus side, okay? On the pros side of this. There is value, I think, into making people think about more than just the here and now and thinking big picture about their lives.
That makes sense.
The vast majority of humans live in a like flow of consciousness state. So getting someone to take a big step back and say, what am I doing with my life? If there is I believe in God, but what am I doing with my life? Am I living in a way that is going to echo into eternity, etc.? Then great. However, that isn't how
That's
this
not
is
what this
used.
says.
Yeah.
And it is where are you spending eternity? And it does boil down into, you go good place or you go bad place.
That's the
And-
Christianese that this is delivering to
Yeah.
someone.
Yes.
Mhm.
And listeners, we did a series on
Did
hell. We did. We did 3 episodes on hell. And basically, I have to say, Jesus didn't take this approach
Nope.
to talking about the good news. Neither did his followers in the first handful of decades.
Would you
So,
just get to the F?
I've got to go with that.
I'm sitting here. You're like, you sound
no,
like
I
you could go either way. It's an
I
F tier.
appreciate the nuance because the context that you're giving is important.
And look, I tried to talk myself into going somewhere aside from F, but mostly I want people to stop using this approach
Yes.
as the this is going to be the thing that's going to get you to follow Jesus, because it's built upon a threat fundamentally.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, we were just talking about this, right, Nate? How we need to have a whole episode on the gospel because this is the gospel. This is what we as Christians communicate to people to get them into the good place and out of the bad place.
Right. Yes.
And
Well,
so
it's a perverse motivation. You know what I mean? It's a perverse motivation that where I end up is the reason I ought to be doing things differently. And fundamentally, I don't think that's the point of
the
heaven or
idea
hell.
that exactly the idea that Christianity is a location problem needs to burn in hell.
You didn't see what he did.
God.
See what he did
And
there.
so for me, it is hot trash F. I'm sorry for anyone. Look, and I do want to take a step back. If you're someone who you notice, hey, I say this, and I've said this to people, and I've said it with good intentions, and I've said it in ways that I get a little bit upset that you guys are so joking about this. Like, we want you to understand, we understand that a lot of these are used with good intentions. These wouldn't be cliche unless they weren't used pretty consistently, and they wouldn't be cliche unless they weren't received in negative ways that you may not have realized when you were communicating them. And that's why if something does fall into the F, I have seen these things too many times cause way more harm than what was ever intended to be good to come out of them. And so if I've never heard someone take this approach ever again for the rest of my life, I would be A-okay.
Yep. Tony's an F. And Canaan, did you already say what you were?
I'm comfortably an F on this
Comfortably
one.
enough. Yeah. Yeah. I would be very happy if nobody used that line as the introduction to someone else about Jesus again.
Yeah. This is not
Um,
the gospel. Yeah.
That's what I would say. Now, you may, listener out there, you may disagree, and that's fine. I think
That is
that we
fine.
can be brothers and sisters even if we disagree on even certain like big topics. But I would say that you can't find it in the Gospels where Jesus says the good news is I came to save you from hell. There we go. Okay, ready to spin the wheel, the big wheel?
Yes.
Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. We have God opened a door or God closed the door.
Okay, I'll open us with this one. I'll open the door for this one. I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't mind it. I definitely have seen my life, throughout my life, it felt like God opened doors and closed doors. And so I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna leave it at B.
Okay.
I think it can be abused. I've heard it abused by people to, it seems like, say that God was the reason their bad decisions made a thing happen, So I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B.
Yeah.
I do think that fundamentally, like, God does open doors. And then at some point, maybe whether he closes them or they close because we don't take advantage of them, it happens. So
I agree. I think with everything you're saying, I think there is absolute truth to the idea that God, especially as people are like, God, please lead me, that God has the ability and will shut down an opportunity and a path forward or open it up. Maybe I don't like the saying because I've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
And maybe I've heard it abused, like, what happened to your car, man? Well, God closed that door when I hit a telephone pole at 40 miles an hour.
and I was drunk.
And I was drunk. Right? It's not something I've lived, but I'm just making up a random example here. Yes. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to say it's B. It's not super harmful. It bothers me because of how I've heard it used in the past, but I don't think it's super helpful or super hurtful. I think it's pretty harmless.
For me, I definitely have prayed this prayer. I have prayed the prayer of not only like, God, please open these doors, open the door in this specific thing, in this specific way. And I do think the more dangerous prayer is the inverse of that. God, close a door. Close the door that I think is good, that's the one that I want to go through, but you know what's going on and I don't. And I need that door to be closed because unless you close it, I'm not going to know that I shouldn't go through it. I've prayed those prayers. Okay. And so I don't disagree with the concept. I'm kind of like you, Nate, in the sense of like, maybe I'm being a little too much on semantics, but I do think that there's a lot of bad theology wrapped up in this phrase. I do think it's used as an excuse more times than not in the context of Christianese, and people have thrown it out there as a, like you said, like, well, God did this, God did this, God did this. And it's like, did God do this? Doesn't mean he can't, doesn't mean, but there's a lot of things that are definitely beneath God's will, beneath his, like, it's not important enough for him type of thing, that you are really quick to assign God to opening or closing of a door. And I have seen it thrown out there way too many times.
Yep.
It's not a burn it to the ground. I think it's a B minus C plus.
B minus C plus.
Yeah, I think it's a C for me, so I'm okay with it being a B.
Yeah. What did you Cannon? You said B?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
so
it's a B.
I was a C. Yeah.
It's a B. B it is. We're chugging right along. We've had everything except S tier at this point.
Will we have
Will
any?
we have an S?
Probably not.
Indicative.
Maybe this will be the big S.
Based on some of these, probably not.
All right. This is very
Oh
new
my
gen.
gosh.
This is very new gen. You're on YouTube Shorts, you're on Instagram Reels, and you see a kid
No.
with that haircut, right? He's got a perm. It's all up here, perm,
Making fun of my hair?
fringe, shaved head. And he goes, the enemy doesn't want you to see this clip. And then it does the thing.
I've not been on this set of YouTube, guys. I'm on another algorithm. So I'm glad that you guys are on that algorithm, but
Look,
I fortunately haven't made it there, and hopefully never will.
So I'm kind of surprised, Canaan, that you haven't had this pop up in your algorithm. Not the context that Nate has given per se, because it is true and it's funny, but I'm gonna bring it up. The Charlie Kirk situation that's happening. The trial is starting, or at least beginning parts of the trial have started, and there have been some people coming out of the woodwork, and like these people are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Candace Owens is not a trustworthy individual, and she does
How
this.
dare you?
I'm sorry. Look
Candace
into it
Owens.
if you
I
want.
listen to Candace Owens no. I think
Just
she's
I
pushing some pretty
I
wild
used to
stuff.
I used to like Candace Owens a lot, actually. I used to have a lot of respect for her. But some of the things we're talking about conspiracy theories, and some of the things that she has really gone to the nth degree, she uses these tactics, and specifically Christian verbiage, and it hurts my heart to hear it, to see it, to see the manipulation. It hurts my heart anytime I see any type of Christianese used for a purpose of clicks, views, getting you to believe what I want you to believe so you join my tribe and not that tribe.
Mm.
It's a hard F tier for me. If I never heard it again a day in my life, I would be totally okay.
Yeah, I think this is as easy as F tier has ever been for me. It was easier than even the last two. You don't know what the enemy wants someone to see, and probably it isn't your opinion.
It's definitely not.
And so it's F. Stop saying that.
My algorithm is just like fever dream.
Oh man, it's
Goofy
real bad right now.
cartoons.
Like, if you haven't gotten into that stuff, don't stay away from her. Stay
Yeah.
away from that whole conversation. It's just not worth your mental capacity.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. The internet is full of crazy people.
If you're someone who really is into Candace Owens, I encourage you to engage in conversation with us. I would love to talk with you, honestly, because I think that there is enough.
You talk with Tony about it.
I think that there's enough to talk about and have a good conversation about, but don't swing from one extreme to the other would be my advice.
Tony's going to host the Candace Owens episode next week alone. Ken and I will not be here. All right, it's F. It is F, ladies and germs, and we're back to spinning. Here we go. You just have to have faith.
Yeah.
Just have faith.
I'm gonna give the context of this one, because I put this in here. For me, the context that I've heard this a lot, and maybe you guys have heard a different context, so you can judge differently. But I've heard this a lot in the sense of, like, if you're a good Christian, you're going to believe. That's what Christians do. Christians believe. You're going to believe, and you shouldn't. Oh, this thing didn't happen in your life that you thought should happen. Well, if you just had faith, if you just believe in God, then you'll be fine. And there's all kinds of levels to it. But that's I don't think I'm doing an accurate job of describing it in a non-biased way.
No, I think I was. That's how I read it. And I will say, I'll preface it with this. I think faith is an incredible attribute that we must exercise as Christians. So let me preface it with that. However, again, this phrase is used in the worst possible way. Yeah. Just the worst possible way. I mean, bad things happen. The rain falls on the just and the unjust. That we know for sure, And so it may not be a matter of faith that you beat your stage 3 cancer, and I've heard people, all kinds of reasons, all kinds of people say that exact phrase, and it's a good way. It's a dumb thing to say to people who are really having a hard time. It's a real dumb thing to say.
Yeah. And I would encourage people. We've had a really, really good trio of episodes on Job that had a lot to do with this principle. We went further into depth. If you didn't hear those episodes, I think they're really good. I encourage you to go listen to them if you want more
We also
detail.
did an episode recently where we discussed the idea of healing. And
Yeah, that's right.
if you're not getting healing, does that mean you lack faith?
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a stranger recently who was sharing her testimony with me, and I shared my testimony with her. And part of my testimony is that my wife has a brain tumor and has had that for a long time. And we've prayed full of faith and have had people around the world, thousands upon thousands of people, ministry leaders, church leaders, praying full of faith for healing. We have not received that healing. And so I shared that with her, and I shared, but I'm not wounded by that, because I can read, like in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, where Paul says, he cried out for healing, and God told him, my grace is sufficient for you. You won't get healing. To the guy who wrote the book on faith, you won't get healing. My grace is going to be sufficient for you, Paul. Okay. So I told her that, and she then heavily implied that it was a demon, and that if we had enough faith, we would cast the demon out.
This
so that
isn't
was
the same girl as before, was it?
No,
This is
no,
another one?
This was like a week ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
This theology runs
Hey.
runs rampant.
And
It
if
runs
you're listening
rampant.
to this episode, we are glad that you're a part of this conversation. Sincerely.
Yes, I really am grateful for the I love the conversation I had with you.
Yeah.
That part was a little bit wounding, right?
Yeah.
And it was a little bit like painful for me to hear, because the arc of our last decade of life has been an arc of having faith that God is good, even if He's not giving me exactly what I want right now. Now, I will say there are many moments where you do need to have faith blindly.
Yes.
And this is
biblical
exactly
faith.
where you should be sitting. But if it's the one-size-fits-all antidote to all pain and hardship,
Which is how it's used.
and then explicitly or mostly, I encounter this in it's a conversation shutter downer.
Yes.
Like, I'm really struggling with this. I don't know what to do. Blah, 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 blah. One of the list of things is you just need to have faith. See you later. And
Good talk.
in that context, I'm going to say it isn't F tier by any means. Because F tier is like, no one should ever say this again. That's absolutely not true. However, it's a dodger. It's the dodging real life. It's the dodging the messy. In my opinion, it's the definition of a C tier.
Yeah.
for
For
me-
me, go ahead,
Tony.
Kenny.
Oh, gosh, we're so polite.
Look at you
You and
guys.
we're just so polite. For me, I'm gonna give it an F tier, and I'll say this: having faith, if that was on the list, S tier. I think more than ever, actually, I've been challenged to have faith, and even when it comes to like praying for people for things like healing, I think S tier. S tier, we don't do it enough. Like, if we really believe that we have the Holy Spirit, and we should, then we ought to do things that require a lot of faith, So S tier, saying it to people in the term that it's only ever used as a way of being like, not minimizing your difficulty, but I would say minimizing your difficulty. You just need to have some faith, man. That's all. You just need to have more. You just need to have faith.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say F tier.
All right.
And
Tony.
and we joke about over talking one another that we're so similar. Everything Canaan just said was exactly what was going to come out of my mouth. I mirror it 100%. I'm also an F tier, and I don't need to say anything more.
F tier it is. I am outvoted
Boom.
by my moderate C tier. Look at all the F tiers we have. My gosh.
We hate Christian jargon.
Wow, these guys are haters. Bunch of haters. To be fair, I definitely voted 3 of them into F tier, I think. So I'm also one of the haters.
Quick, we're
We
gonna
are
find an S
spinning.
tier. It's here somewhere.
Yeah, please S tier. Come on, baby. When we getting the S?
Remember, I I voted
Not
S
this.
tier.
We're not getting it on this one, ladies
Yes,
and
we
gentlemen.
are.
All right, this is triggering to anyone that's ever been into any kind of biblical training. Is what
Yeah,
I think.
and I want to give the context of people who have not been through biblical training, right?
Wait,
Because
we got to
this,
read it first.
We have to read
Nobody
it
knows what it
before
is.
our-
Oh.
His ways and thoughts are higher than yours. That's been used
yeah,
for a lot of things.
His
Yeah,
his
God's
ways, his
ways.
thoughts are not your thoughts. His ways are not your
Yes.
ways.
yeah, yeah. And guys, I've been to good churches. My church, my home church that we attend weekly, and I love it to death. They used it just like 3 or 4 weeks ago. All right. And so, like, good people use this. Um, Good intentions all around it. I'm not going to say that this has so many abusive, destructive things that when it gets used, Christians don't realize how bad of a Christian image they're showing the rest of society, and so this needs to be burned to the ground. So I can't advocate for an F on this one, even though I want to, and I'm kind of surprised those words are coming out of my mouth. Because the thing is, guys, what Nate and Kenan's saying, if you've had any, like, if you looked into this without skewed theology, is what I would say. You read the context, you read what's before this, you read what's after this, and God is specifically talking to a group of wicked people who have done terrible things, who do terrible things, who think terrible ways. And so the context is, hey, God's ways are not the ways of the terrible people. His thoughts are, he does not think the way that these selfish humans think. He doesn't do like that. And so he's not talking about you as a human being as such a small, puny, tiny ant. How dare you even begin to question him? Like, that's not it at all. The whole Bible is about God trying to engage you in a dialogue in a way that you can understand. And so, so much in me wants to say F tier. Convince me why it's not F tier, I guess. I don't know.
I won't
Yeah.
be convincing you of anything.
I'm not going to help you out too much there, Tony. Here's the deal. It's used as a conversation shutter downer in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Where, in a sense of like, I don't understand why God is doing this, or I'm trying to understand, or I'm trying to like learn, or if you bring up an idea that somebody's uncomfortable with or doesn't fit like their theological box of where God is at, it's like, no, don't even try to attempt to explain. Like, we're like, what about this? What about this question? Well, his ways are not our ways. And it's like, shut it
You're being
down.
a bad
Shut down
Christian.
any attempt to think this through. In that use case, that drives me crazy.
Yes.
In Isaiah, where it gets brought up, it's in the context of morality. It's in the context of like, God is so far, his ways and his thoughts are so far from the depraved and backwards and upside down thoughts of the people of Israel at the time that Isaiah is writing to, that it's like night and day. So specifically, it's about morality. Now, that said, is it the case that God is infinitely higher than we are? Yes, it is. Is it the case that we will never fully comprehend everything about the being of God? Absolutely. Like, absolutely. Is it the case that we can understand nothing of him? Absolutely not. By virtue of the fact that he himself has revealed himself to us, like through the person of Jesus, through the Bible, through creation. So there's nuance there, right? But as a conversation shutter downer, which is where I always hear it.
Yeah.
Always hear it in a hand wavy. No, don't ask that question. I don't like that question. And his ways are higher than our ways. I'm not going to attempt to think about that. That part drives me a little crazy because it's like a silver bullet aimed at our God-given intellect and at God's own invitation to us to like, come, let us reason together. Come understand me, right? Yeah. Come and meet me. Come know me. In that respect, it drives me crazy. The way it's used, it's an F for me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with F as well because if I never heard someone ever use it ever again, I would be very grateful actually because one of the biggest things that I have a high disdain in Christianity is the type of Christianity that divorces themselves from logic and reasoning and actually engaging in rational thought and rational reality. It's one of my favorite arguments to have in a healthy way is to try to argue this idea that Christianity is very rational. I'm not trying to get you to blind belief into something. I'm trying to like have a conversation about actual reality, actual description of how things actually work. That's what I feel like Christianity does in a way that no other religion does. And this is so antagonistic to even start in that conversation. So yeah, I am gonna say F.
Mhm. All right,
I won't even dive
Canaan, it
in, but
doesn't
for the
matter what you
reasons,
say. No, actually, it does. If
yeah,
you
it's
come
F.
in at higher than like,
Hey,
if you
if
come
you
in at
say
an
S,
A,
that
if
will
you come in
balance
at an
us
S or
out.
an A, it'll bounce us up a little bit.
No, we are at an F. We're solidly together on this one, boys.
And F it
I
is.
think we've
Let's get the
already
next
saw
one.
our S.
We
We
got to do
just
one more. We
didn't
got to
want
get an
it.
S tier
This
somewhere
is
in here.
looking
we still
pretty
have
pretty dark.
we
We
still
have
have 10
five
minutes-ish.
F tiers, and then a C and a B and an A.
At least we have an A.
I'm starting to
pretty
feel. At least we have an A. There's some good ones on here,
Come
though.
on,
We just keep
spin.
getting these other ones.
Spin. There's gold buried in here. I know there is.
All right. Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Mm.
There's gold buried in them hills.
Yeah. God
Look,
put
hey,
it on
once
my
more,
heart
we're not
tell
trying to
you.
make light of things to a degree that like shuts down conversation with people who may believe that there's value in some of these things. If there wasn't if there was no value whatsoever in any of these things, they wouldn't have been confused as Christianese to begin with. All right. Once more, we're just trying to get across the idea of how are these things received? What kind of impact do these comments, typically cliche, have? And what kind of influence are you potentially having on other people around you?
Yep.
What was the actual thing, though?
God put it on my heart to tell you.
That's what God put
Yeah.
on my heart to tell you.
I hate it. I hate it. I'll start us off. I hate it. I think those are some strong words. That's what I think.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
unless you are a literal prophet, I don't know if I would use those words.
Look. It can should all of us be, as followers of Jesus, open to hearing the leading of the Holy Spirit to speak to someone else?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, we should. If God were to give us a word to say, should we go tell somebody?
Yes.
Yes, we should. Should we say, God put it on my heart to tell you
No.
when we say that?
No.
I agree with you, Canaan. The sentiment I like. The practice I like. The language invokes the authority of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And you need to be very, very confident if you say, God is saying. So I wouldn't say that unless I had, like, I'd bet my life on it. Now, if you come to someone and says, hey, or if you come to someone and you say, hey, or if someone says to you, hey, I feel like God is wanting me to say this, and take it to God and evaluate it. Take it to the Bible. Don't just take my word for it. This is what I feel, so I'm going to give it to you, and then you can take that and run.
Yeah.
That, I think, is wise counsel. It's
Yes.
testing the words of the prophets, right?
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
That's good. That's smart. So the phrase "God put it on my heart to tell you," you have immediately said, God is saying this.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of God told you, or God told me that you were going to be my wife. That You're gonna be the mother of my kids. I say it
Worst
jokingly,
form.
but this exists. It
The worst
exists.
form of this phrase
That is
Tony
the
has uttered.
final form. God put it
It
on
is
my
the
heart to
final
tell
form.
you that
Yeah.
you have to marry me and bear my
And
children.
I say it I say it jokingly, almost as a hyperbole. I wish it was a hyperbole, but it's not. We've had recent controversy in certain parts of the modern Christian church, just even 6 months ago, when things like this were coming to light, when it was proven to be straight up manipulation, straight up spiritual abuse, and it impacted people, specifically the one I know about, this girl's life. And she's no longer a Christian today. And I don't blame her. I don't. Because this is something that someone took and they ran with it, and they definitely made it for their own devices, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's so dangerous. If you really did hear something from God, guess what? When you speak it out loud as encouragement to someone else, then God's spirit is going to be with that person too, and it's gonna click with that person as well.
And
And
yeah,
that's just it.
I think it's all about how it's proposed. And I will say this too, as a for the critics out there, some of the most encouraging things that I've ever experienced were people who were speaking in like a prophetic way over my life. Some of the most encouraging things. And even to this day, I've had stuff that people have said to me, and they've never used the words "God said this." You know what I mean? I've never heard that, but I have had a lot of other similar things. Just not with that level of authority. Maybe I think that would maybe bother me a little bit if somebody.
Yeah, I think it's in the way it's presented.
It is.
I wouldn't say it in that way.
Yeah. Yep.
The basic concept is amazing. Yes, hear from
Yeah.
God. Yes, God can speak to somebody to speak to you. Awesome.
Yeah.
But if someone says God is saying,
Yeah.
it's very, very heavy.
I would instantly stop and go, I'm gonna
I would take
whatever
it
you have.
But my thing is, I would take it very, very seriously because you have to.
Well, depending on the context of what it is.
Depending on the source.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
If somebody said that to me, I think I would instantly be viewing it from a lens of hyper, like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm going to listen to what you're saying. You know what I mean?
If it's
I'll
if
hear
it's
it,
a
but
Yeah, if it's a Christian encouragement where this person is uplifting and saying something that totally aligns with biblical principles, that's different than someone trying to prophesy something that's going to happen in my life. Like, that's going from a Christian internal principle to, I'm going to tell you this external magic trick of something that's going to happen that no one else knows about, but I do because God speaks to me. Those are two
Well,
different things.
I heard literally, this is a recent experience I had. I was looking at there's an interesting ministry out there that's quite controversial. I'm not going to say the name of it quite yet. Maybe we can do another podcast talking about this type of thing. But it was a Facebook commenter who was claiming to be prophetic, defending this ministry that's, in my opinion, highly sus. You look at it and you're like, this is sus. There's a lot of really weird stuff going on here. And you're like, this just doesn't look right. This looks bad, And the Facebook commenter was claiming to be prophetic and saying, verbatim, God says, fill in the blank. It was God says this, God says this. And they were tagging people on Facebook being like, and to you, God says, stop criticizing this, stop doing whatever. And to you, God says, you better turn from your wicked whatever. And it's just like all this stuff. And you're like, boy,
It grieves me.
It's a real bad misrepresentation, And I do think that there are modern day prophetic people who are gifted with that prophetic thing, and for them, maybe that's the way that they need to function, and maybe it'll land on somebody in the way that the right moment that they need to hear.
They won't communicate that way because God doesn't communicate that way. Anyway.
Yeah, all I know is it's a slippery slope,
Yeah.
So I think we've landed on F tier. We still have a few more minutes.
Oh no, I was going to go S tier.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I think it's F tier. There's nuance there. There really is.
There is.
To be clear. But it is so easily abused, and without you even meaning to, probably, it invokes divine authority for every word that
Yeah.
comes out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
heavy. Find a different way to
Damage
say
can
that.
be done
Find a different way to
very
say that.
easily.
I'm desperate to find something that isn't F. We just keep hitting F.
Almost there.
I'm
It's
spinning
there. There's
again.
gold in this wheel, I'm
Speed
telling
round.
you.
Speed round. Hedge of protection.
I look. It's at least it's it's scriptural, right? Hold on. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Yes,
is it,
it
guys?
has scriptural basis.
Okay.
However, does anyone know what that is?
No, I don't.
No clue. And I'm sure it's taken out of context, just like the rapture.
Yeah.
It's from Job, right?
It's thrown around so often, and there are so few. It is from Job Canaan, yes.
Nice.
There are so few people who know what this is talking about, and it's just thrown out as like a generic protection word.
We
I
don't cast
don't like
spells
it.
as Christians.
I don't like it either. However, I pray every night that God would protect my home,
Yeah.
And
and I've done
that's
it. I do it every
different.
night over my kids, and I'm like literally like, God, if evil shows up to my door, would your spirit drive that away? You know what I mean? So I've prayed that stuff, and I think there's validity there. You know what I mean? I think we should be praying and asking God for divine protection. I don't think there's
If
anything
you
wrong with
don't pray that prayer, will that not happen? I'm sorry. We have just a few minutes left. We don't need to go into
that.
weeds
Why do
on
you have
this.
to ask these difficult questions, Tony?
I love playing devil's
Yeah.
advocate. I can't help it.
What's the point of praying it if God was already going to do it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Checkmate.
And if God already knew what you were going to, okay.
Checkmate, because there's nowhere in the Bible where God doesn't do something that he said he was going to do after someone prays. There's nowhere in the Bible where that happens.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
How does Jesus teach us to pray, Tony?
Our Father who art
To be
in
clear,
heaven.
to our listeners out there, I'm speaking tongue in cheek. There
Yes.
are a multitude of moments in the Bible where God does something other than what he explicitly said he was going to do after somebody prays. Now, I'm not saying that the point is solved. I'm saying it's complex. The reason
very.
Tony threw the conversation out there is because the question of sovereignty and man's free will and prayer and et cetera, is complicated. It's complicated. And it's definitely beyond our scope for this particular podcast, although I'd love to get into it another time. My
It could be a
thought
good
with
one.
hedge of protection is the fundamental idea. It's literally like you build like a hedge like of thick brambly bush things around your
Hedges.
dwelling place, and it protects you. Like it keeps stuff out. That's the idea. Originally it's from Job, but you can also find that kind of thing in Isaiah, where God actually removes the hedge around his vineyard, and his vineyard being Isaiah, and he does that because they have ceased to be blessable, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah, the fundamental idea is the idea of protection. I just think we throw it out so much that we just don't know what we're talking about.
Yes.
I don't think we need to use the language anymore. I think it's more of a distraction than it is a help. So I don't like it, but I am also not like deeply offended by it.
Yeah, it doesn't cause crazy
It's
harm
B.
like some of these others.
I think it's B.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
you
go
know
with
what,
C.
I can also go with B. Some of the things that are on this list are straight up Fs for me. This is just not one of them. It's not like I hear it and just go like, please don't do that.
Yeah.
I kind of
I
feel
hear it and
that
I'm
way
like,
if
okay,
I
I
hear
get
it.
it.
That's if I hear that from someone, typically,
Yeah.
it's a red flag for me, and it makes me go, okay, I need to pay attention to everything else this person's saying and really evaluate if it's something I agree with or not. And so it's a C for me.
Well, Canaan and I are at B. Tony's at C. We got a B. It's gonna level out to a B. Guys, are we out of time?
I think we are.
think we're
And I
about
would
out of
like
time.
to. I would like to
real
close.
quick. Before
Go
we
ahead.
finish up, is there anything on this list that you feel is an A at a glance or an S at a glance?
You asking me?
Oh, I can't.
For
I
the
can't even
listeners.
see it.
Can't see it. Hold on. Can I zoom in?
Yeah, it's too small.
Oh, really? I can see it. Oh man,
can't
it's
zoom
too
in.
big.
Okay, here we go. Can you see these now? Still can't see him? No? Okay.
I can see him. Yeah, I can see him.
I mean,
I definitely do think there are S tiers on here.
Pick one S tier that you like.
Everything happens for a reason. Just kidding. It's
we got them yolks.
God needed another angel.
Would you stop it?
I just
There's
felt
another
a release
angel
in my
in
spirit.
Okay. I think that worship is a weapon is actually straight up S tier. I think it sounds a little cliche.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I think it is definitively biblically a strong concept. And it's in that exact language in the Bible that worship is a weapon in the kind of battle that we're in, which is very spiritual and battle of temptation and truth and lies or whatever else. So I think worship as a weapon is a great example of an S tier item on here. And I don't think it's the only one on here either.
No.
Yeah. I think some of these in different contexts, depending, like doing life together. I'm not sure on the intentional context of that being put up here. It could be something that I have a different view than what I have, but doing life together is absolutely paramount to life. I think that's one of the things that once more Christianity describes a reality so well that it makes life better. You're not just surviving, you're not just doing what you should, but you're thriving. You can't live life to its potential, to its maximum, unless you're doing life together.
Yep.
It's a classic church tagline. Life Church, doing life together.
Doing life together, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's Dietrich Bonhoeffer, right? He wrote the book Life Together.
That's right.
And really got that thing rolling. I think that's an easy S tier. I think it's great. I think it can move into the cliche, right? But the meaning is so ridiculously
so good.
important and not and it's a little bit lost on modern church culture, even though we use it a lot. I've been to Life Church many times. I've never done life together with any of the people I've been to the Life Church I've seen in the building, and that's more my fault than anyone else's, But yes, look, so all that to say, everybody, our listeners and watchers out there, we aren't just haters. It was the wheel.
It was the wheel.
It was the wheel.
It was the wheel that did it.
How does it go, Nate? The wheel weaves as the wheel wills.
The wheel weaves as the wheel wills, which
is
one of
tongue tie.
And the wheel wove as the wheel would. Yep. Well, guys, we're out of time. To our live viewers, thank you guys for joining us for this. This was a lot of fun. And again, look, the stuff we got into here. Some of it was very light and very breezy and real quick. Like, the enemy doesn't want you to see this clip. But other stuff was it's like a little window into tackling a bigger question. And that's why we wanted to do this, because it's both enjoyable, but also a way of machine gunning our way through a bunch of different little topics.
Welcome to our podcast. That's what we do here.
Welcome to the podcast, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
thumbnail may or may not say, "The enemy doesn't want you to watch this video." I'm just saying.
Yeah. Candace Owens is going to be on the thumbnail with that thing, and she's going to be Yep.
That's great.
Well, y'all, Tony, Canaan, thank you guys for joining me for another episode. That was a lot of fun. And to all of you guys out there, until next time, take it easy.